Hello everyone, welcome to something a bit different on the channel that I'm going to be trying out. Don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Talks with Tony. Tony Talks. Something like that. Who knows. But anyway, this is more or less just going to be some gameplay of something in the background. We'll see what it is. Probably GTA 5. Might switch it up. Who knows. But just going to go over some talking points that I thought up. You know, some thoughts that I've had, thoughts I want to share. Anyway, start with the first one, which is relationships. Now, relationships are something that I believe you should make with people that are going to add something of value to your life. Now, it doesn't have to be physical value, like money or something. You don't have to be friends with a rich guy just because he's rich, whatever else. But they've got to add something and fill up for some of your flaws or help you push past them, because that's important. It's humans are very social creatures. We're supposed to rely on each other for stuff like this. And if you're just surrounding yourself with people that aren't augmenting you, people that you're not augmenting, it's obviously a two-way street. You don't want to be reliant on somebody, and you don't want to force somebody to be your crutch. It needs to be a two-way street. But anybody you get into a relationship of any kind with has to be, a two-way augmented street. I don't know where I'm going with that one, but you gotta make sure, because this is your time, right? You have a finite amount of time in your life. Yeah, okay, fuck off. You have a finite amount of time in your life, and spending it with people that aren't helping you and that you're not helping is not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get them anywhere. And it's, you might be around somebody that feels nice to be around, but at the end of the day, if they're just a train wreck of a person or whatever, they're just going to drag you down with them, and that's not what you want at all in a relationship. You want something beneficial for both parties. Relationships are sacred. You can't just, you don't have to take my word as gospel, obviously, but you probably shouldn't. I would advise against hanging out with people or getting into a relationship of any kind with somebody that's just negative. Don't, and same with these people that are like depressed all the time, and they might have something to offer you, but at the end of the day, it's just not worth it, man. Like, you always try and help someone, but sometimes people just don't want to be helped, and they want to use you as a doormat, and they want to use you as just a pillow to talk into. And that's not healthy for either side, because, you're being a crutch for somebody else, and that's not really helping them fix the problem. You're just being a crutch. And, obviously the same way around, they're using you. It's just not beneficial. Anyway, continuing on to point A here. I skipped straight to point B because that's just what I felt like talking about. But point A, disagreements. So we've already established that you need to be in a beneficial relationship no matter what, no matter what kind it is. Now, disagreements, if you fundamentally disagree with somebody on just the most base level, say, you're a more of a kind person, and the person you're being friends with, or however you want to phrase that, is just constantly being belligerent, constantly being abrasive, and that doesn't necessarily make somebody toxic if they always speak their mind. But if you disagree with something, that they say, and normally you're a soft-spoken person, don't just take it. Speak up, because more times than not, somebody who's abrasive, somebody who is, always talking facts and never considering feelings or anything like that, they're more than willing to have a conversation about facts. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to be like that. But, 9 times out of 10, if you have a disagreement with somebody, it's best just to come out and talk about it. And it also vice versa. If you feel that somebody is focusing a bit too much on feelings and they're ignoring reality, they're ignoring, actual stuff that's going on around them, and they're letting it affect their lives in a very negative way, you got to talk to them about it. Approach it in a way that's going to be risible with them, it's going to be agreeable with them, but don't just, you got to find a way to talk to people, because everybody has a way that they want to be talked to, and you can always find a way to compromise on a way of approaching somebody and still get your point across. That's something I've learned over many years of dealing with many different people, is that everybody has their method of arguing, their method of discussion, and not everybody's gonna be the same. If you have a disagreement with somebody, and if you really know them, you really want to pursue that relationship and not just drop it, which you shouldn't, but sometimes disagreements can be so strong that they lead to a toxic relationship. But anyway, you just gotta find out what makes them tick, find out how to approach that in a healthy way so you can preserve the relationship, and also, help them and help yourself. And point C, I should say, also kind of leads into this, and that is patience, compassion, and honesty. Now, patience is 100% a virtue, because if you are, okay, I'll list out a number of scenarios here. If you are patient with somebody who is more underdeveloped, their personality isn't, they're younger, or perhaps they're inexperienced with the world, if you're patient with them and you take the time to teach them and learn proper methods of what they respond to best, and finding out ways on helping them through problems, helping them through situations, or whatever else, you'll more often than not find that they have some form of insight that you didn't have before. Nobody is just worthless, I don't believe. Everybody has something to offer, be it negative or positive. With toxic people, you might be bummed out that you lost a friend, but at the end of the day, what you found was a life lesson. What you found was a new way of dealing with people and a new way of looking at the world. It all ties together here. Now, compassion. We've gone through patience, and I do believe that compassion is different from patience, obviously, in a relationship. Compassion can go both ways, right? If you are just letting them walk all over you, that's not really compassion. Compassion is being willing to say what needs to be said, when it 100% needs to be said, and also learning when to bite your tongue and just let somebody vent, and just let them be who they are. Just, you gotta find that middle ground. True compassion isn't just, it's not just being an open door. True compassion is helping somebody find solutions, and also, being there when they need to rant or whatever else. That's what true compassion is. Now, honesty, I think honesty, ties into all this the most, probably, and that is, don't ever let stuff build up, guys. Like, let's be real. When you let stuff build up, it creates more problems later on in your relationship with that person, and it creates distrust. It's like, sometimes I've been in situations where you're walking on eggshells with people just because you're not being honest, or they're not being honest with you, and everybody can tell when somebody's not being honest, right? You don't want to be the friend that, say, you got like a best friend and they suspect that you're not being honest with them. You don't want to be that friend, Just don't go down that path. And also, you should expect to go through life with people, being honest with you. It's a two-way street again. Lay that out when you're about to get into a relationship of any kind, be honest with me. A lot of people say they want honesty, but at the end of the day, they're not so sure, they're not so confident. So you have to lay that out for them at the start. You have to be clear and concise and honest about what you want out of that relationship. Being honest about, oh shit, what the hell happened here? Just a little bit of lag. Anyway, being honest about how you feel about a person despite your predisposed relationship with them, that's so important. And it'll be so liberating when you finally come out and just tell them, or if you have managed to establish for yourself, a relationship where honesty is the cornerstone of that relationship, of that friendship, of that, romance or marriage or whatever, partnership, it's gonna just be so much more stress-free. And isn't that what we all want, folks? We want to be stress-free. We want to be at a stable baseline. And this all feeds into that. It all feeds into this catastrophe avoidance and stable baseline philosophy, I guess you could call it. I learned this one from the comedian Sam Hyde. I think it was Hyde Wars 38, where he was talking about having a stable baseline and just avoiding catastrophe. And if you don't know what I mean by this, I'll tie it into this rant here, I guess. If you don't know what I mean, holy shit, what's going on server lag? Catastrophe avoidance in terms of relationships is avoiding the pitfalls that most people fall into when they get into a friendship or whatever else. And that is not being honest, all these other things. You want to avoid stuff building up, and you want to avoid dishonesty, and you want to avoid being overly abrasive to somebody, or being overly sympathetic and overly empathetic to them. You don't want to be a doormat. You avoid these catastrophes early on, and you don't have to deal with the spillage later. You don't have to deal with the drama. Dear Lord, don't we all hate drama, folks? But you don't have to deal with all this negative stuff later on because you avoided it. You thought ahead, and you actually took a moment to reflect about all these things that I'm talking about, all these things that a lot of other people talk about. I've seen quite a few other talks. I'm just giving my own perspective here. But you can avoid so much horrible stuff that will take months, weeks, days, possibly years off your life. And by off your life, I mean you're just going to spend so much time dealing with these crises, because one thing will lead to another, and then that thing leads to another thing, and it's just this never-ending cycle of bullshit, right? You can avoid so much in a relationship, so much of this horrible stuff, just by being honest, compassionate, and being patient. You can gain so much more out of a relationship that might not be apparent at first by being patient. I've learned so much from people, from the most people you would never suspect of being able to teach you anything. I've learned so much just through being patient and putting time and effort into that relationship and into that person. And I do believe that we as, civilized people, as people, as, understanding, caring, compassionate, talking human beings, honest human beings, it's important to relay all of this stuff to other people in order to build positive, healthy relationships. And I see so often in our society, all society memes, aside here. Oh boy, what the hell happened here? Let's see if we can get out of this one, folks. Oh, come on. Come on. No. Oh. Anyway. Okay, so I see all the time in our society where in our society where we will just go blankly through life, never ever trying to pass anything that we've learned on. Never ever trying to, never trying to make anybody better. And I know it's not always our place, our job to get involved with somebody else's life, and in a lot of cases you shouldn't. But when you really care about somebody, it's not just about them serving you, it's about you trying to actively help each other. All this stuff is so important in a relationship. And, I might just be some small YouTuber, whatever. But I will never say something in a talk like this that I don't genuinely believe, and I haven't personally, learned through, sometimes harsher circumstances. I've had relationships that have failed with people, and I've also had relationships that have gone through a lot and come out better at the end of the day. And I've also tried to help a lot of people, and I genuinely think that is a methodology that we should, a philosophy going through life that we should all adopt and all of us should practice. Because, when we have all this horrible stuff going on in the world, it doesn't need another, the world doesn't need another person who is going to make it an even worse place. The world just doesn't need that. It needs positive people who understand what they're doing and, who want to genuinely help people. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to get us all through this, get us all through life, because we only get one shot. We only get one shot, so why go through life being cold-hearted? Why go through life causing conflict and starting drama? Just go through life, try and help as many people as you can. And then, when it's your time to leave, it's your time to leave, and you can go knowing that you left behind a legacy of helping people, and knowing that those people will help other people, and so on and so forth. All of these things have butterfly effects, right? You help one person, they help another person, and so on and so forth. It's all very important, folks, and that's why I'm talking about it. If I thought it was pointless to talk about it, I wouldn't do it. So anyway, I think that's going to be enough for this talks with Tony, or whatever, this rant, whatever I end up calling it. I thank you all sincerely from the bottom of my heart for tuning in, and I hope that you will perhaps share this with other people, or just reflect. That's the purpose of this, is to get you to reflect, and even myself, it's important that we all reflect. So thank you for listening, and I will see you all next time.